we'll move on ahead to the Hornets visiting the Utah Jazz. Charlotte side, we're on scary Terry watch, not just because he has been absolutely amazing in February, really ever since LaMelo Ball entered the starting lineup. He's been the fifth best player in 9 category leagues in February on a per game basis and through 7 games. And he's just getting it done in a ton of different areas. Obviously, scoring is his forte. He's been shooting really hot. He's been really hot recently. So, there's some unsustainable stuff going on there. But, people are very interested in his rest of season outlook, whether or not he could be a top 25, top 30 guy potentially. And I'm not here to tell you that it's not possible. I mean, especially considering that this trend that we've been watching out of him recently has a direct correlation to a lineup switch. That's kind of a positive thing generally. I mean, LaMelo has really unlocked a lot of different guys in that rotation. Miles Bridges is another one who they have a nice rapport. But I think just playing alongside a natural facilitator, not that Devontae Graham wasn't, but I think LaMelo is just a step above him. Yeah. All right. Well, I was trying to go easy on my guy Devontae, but Brent's not having that. So we'll just glide past that. We'll glide past that one.
It is what it is. But and he is a game time decision tonight, from what I see.
Good point.
Graham.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting what effect that has on the rotation once he's back. I think it will have minimal effect. I think it will mostly affect Monk, if anything, and Monk's little hot streak right now. I think it'll cut into his extra time that he's been getting. Mm-hmm. So, I think Monk's probably worth hanging on to if you have him in a deeper league or competitive league or whatever, just to see what happens. But I would be a little bit worried because I don't think Rozier or Ball's playing time is going anywhere.
Absolutely,
so it's got to come out of somewhere, and I think that's Monk's extra time that he's been getting.
I completely agree, and we've seen in the few games that since LaMelo's been elevated to the starting lineup that Rozier and Graham have been healthy at the same time. It's mostly been Graham who's been out, but James Borrego is trying to find ways for those 3 to play at the same time. It'll be interesting to see if Graham can hold on to enough minutes to even warrant ownership, roster ability in 9-cat leagues as is, because we already know the percentage issue. If his minutes are depleted and he's not as involved with the starters as much, we might see his best stats, the assists, even come down as well. And at that point, he might be in cut territory. Honestly, it's going to be an interesting, which seems kind of crazy. I know people were drafting him in the top 100 this year. And the counting stats are very prolific, but if we're just being honest, in 9-category leagues, he hasn't had the most friendly game. And LaMelo's got the leg up, and he's by no means losing that starting job. So that will be an interesting dynamic to watch whenever Graham is able to play.
Well, the hard part, Alan, to predict about that is you would think the 3 could play together because LaMelo is such a big guard. He could kind of play that wing. But the problem is he's not really great off the ball. Like LaMelo, like his name says, he needs the ball. And Rozier and Graham are almost better off the ball, but size-wise, that hurts you defensively against a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So maybe on defense they could have Ball guard the bigger guy, and then he's still the ball handler coming up, but that affects your transition offense and all of that too. So there's a lot of factors that make it difficult for the 3 of them to play together. It was a little more friendly for maybe a Monk or someone to be in there, but I don't know. We'll see, but you're right. I think Devontae is going to be borderline cut if he doesn't come out and hit more consistently, because that field goal percentage is a killer, especially with a chucker like Graham, who has never seen a shot he didn't like. So it's it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But I think both Graham and Monk could be near the chopping block territory, just hurting each other when it's all said and done.
And very interesting dynamic. And, maybe Devontae ends up being a trade candidate as we get closer to the deadline. That's something to watch as well.
Or Monk, one of those two.
Or
I think.
Honestly, either of those two would make sense. I mean, Monk was out of the rotation before Graham really went out. I mean, he's been able to maintain it because of the injuries to Graham and Rozier. But those are 2 names to watch. I feel like if Charlotte's looking to buy at the deadline, and it's very possible that they will.
And there's a lot of rumors that they're really active in that center trade market or the center market, whether it's Cousins or Drummond or whoever. So, that Cody Zeller fun ride might be coming to an end pretty soon. And if they're going to make a trade for a center, I would think Graham or Monk or both would probably be one of the centerpieces of that trade, potentially with like a Bridges or something. to be able to get someone like a Drummond. So we'll see what shakes out. But yeah, I roll with Rozier for sure, who's on fire. He killed my Warriors the other night after Draymond's. I got to bring it up, but after Draymond's, he already cost us a championship with his temper, and now he cost us this game, which we should have come back and won without Curry. And I think Rozier scored like 10 points in less than a minute in that fourth quarter. It was crazy. So
McGrady came out.
Yeah, it was or Reggie Miller in his 8 seconds against the Knicks. Like it was a historic less than a minute there for Rozier, and just painful to watch as a fan of the other team, but awesome to watch as a fan of basketball. But I'm really impressed with Rozier and what he's done and proven people wrong, because he got Hornets got a lot of crap for signing with that big contract, that he wasn't a start. He was getting starter money and probably wasn't a starting point guard. He's a starting NBA point guard, and good for him. He's really proved it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how he continues to develop like that down the road. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is your Charlotte's Hornet Corner. Charlotte's Hornet Corner.
Yeah, who knew I was such a Hornet stan? Every time we talk about it, I get excited.
Yeah, you came for his jugular.
I'm not a Graham fan when it comes to fantasy basketball. I was excited for how he came out of nowhere. That was cool, and what he did. But from a fantasy perspective, he's such a killer in certain categories. It's tough to get behind it, especially now though with Ball, and the team saw it too, or they wouldn't have drafted Ball. So